Here's a question. Can you make a regular income publishing low content books on Amazon KDP? Let's find out. Hello home bosses, my name is Nuria Corby from thehomeboss.com. Welcome to my channel, which is all about helping you to make money online. And today I'm going to talk about whether you can make a full-time regular income publishing low content books on Amazon KDP. So what are low content books? Low content or no content books is really a made-up term. It doesn't really exist. But somebody came up with the brilliant idea of making a no content or low content book and publishing it onto Amazon KDP. And low content is things like journals, notebooks, planners. So you can have a very simple lined notebook, upload it onto Amazon KDP and start making money. And I'm sure you've seen all the YouTube videos that promise you to make $10,000 in 1 month by uploading a notebook onto Amazon KDP. Now, I find those kind of videos interesting and they're quite motivating, but they're not really telling you the truth because it's not as simple as that. You can't just make a lined notebook, upload it onto KDP and then sit back and wait for the money to come in. That's not how it works. But I'm not saying that it's not possible. I think that it is definitely possible to make a good regular income on KDP, and you can do that by uploading notebooks, journals, planners, that kind of thing. So if you watched any of my videos before and you've seen my income reports, you can see that I now make several $1,000s per month regularly, and I really want to emphasize regularly. For me, it was important to make a full-time income regularly so that I could then give up other kinds of work. I didn't have to look for a job anymore and I could work from home full time. That was my goal. And I've achieved it now. And now I want to tell all of you how you can also achieve it. But what I don't like is when people make it sound easy, because then people get the wrong idea. And I see that a lot in my Facebook group and in other people's groups. When people think they're going to make money straight away by doing low content publishing, that's not the case. So I see things on my group that say something like, I have published 4 books and I'm not getting any sales. What's wrong? Well, what's wrong is that 4 books is not really enough to really get a feeling for what is going to work for you. Because you can be lucky and you can make a book that straight away starts selling lots of copies, but that's unlikely. It's more likely that you upload your books and that you're not going to get any sales to begin with. And then you upload some more books, you start changing things, you start getting better at your research, because you have to do a lot of research before you can actually upload a book. You then get better at making the covers, you get a little bit better at making the interiors, and that is how you learn. And that's why it's a slow process. You can't really expect to upload a book and for it to sell straight away. It's not how it works. It may have worked in the past when it wasn't so competitive, but even then, I don't think it's as simple as that. It can be simple. Sometimes people are lucky, but I think that nowadays you really have to be very good at design and at knowing what the market really wants for you to be able to make sales straight away. And that's not the case for everybody. So a lot of you are probably starting this without a background in design, and you're just maybe watching some YouTube videos on how to do it, and you make your first cover and you make your first book and you upload it and you hope for the best. And that's great, but it's not the way that you're going to make sales quickly, because you do have to become good at it. You have to practice, and practice makes perfect. And eventually you can make money on KDP. I was no different, even though I have a background in design, but I still had to relearn everything. When I did graphic design, computers didn't exist, so it's a long time ago, and everything worked very differently. So you do have to have a little bit of knowledge. And I remember when I first started, I didn't even know the difference between a JPEG and a PNG and a GIF or anything like that. I didn't have a clue. And I learned everything by watching YouTube videos, by just searching everything on Google. So I know that it can be done because I've done it and I didn't know how to do it. But if you have an inquisitive mind and you like to research things and you like to find out how things work, then KDP can work very well for you. But you have to have that mindset that you need to find out things. I get a lot of people asking for things like, give me a niche, or give me some keywords, or give me an interior. To be honest, if that is your mindset, you're not going to succeed on KDP. Because to succeed on KDP, you need to have that drive to want to do things yourself. You need to teach yourself to do things. And if you can do that, you've got a whole world of opportunities out there on KDP. But if you're wanting things to be given to you ready-made, it's not the best mindset to have, and that can stop people from really becoming successful. I find a lot of people are asking for things that they really need to learn to do themselves, because if you can't learn to do something, nobody's going to give you things that you need to sell for free. You need to either pay for things. This is how things work. You either have to pay somebody to do it, or you learn how to do it yourself. But it's not too difficult. So if you have a inquisitive mind and you like to learn new things, KDP could well be something really interesting for you, especially if you're creative. And it's so much fun. It's really a lot of fun to create interiors and to think about what people might want to buy in terms of books. So you can make logbooks, you can make planners, you can make journals. Like I said, there are so many opportunities out there for you. And once you learn all those things, you can even advance into children's books, or you can make more higher content books, put a bit more into your books, and even maybe one day write a full novel, who knows. But it's a really good start with low content book, because it's kind of easing you into the self-publishing business. So the kind of questions that I get on my Facebook group are things like, how many books do I need to publish to start making a regular income? Those are the kind of questions that are really difficult to answer, because there is no number that I can give you for that. You can make money with 3, 4, 5 books. Under 10 books, you can start making money if they're really good books. And some people have hundreds of books and they are not making any money. My advice would be, you need to make a few books to learn the process, and you need to make a few books to see which ones are getting attention from buyers and which ones are not working for you. And you can only really do that by making a few books and then analyzing what you've got and see what works and what doesn't work. I always say to people, I only sell about 20 to 30% of all my books. I have 560 books in total, 563 or something like that, around 560. And that is all I have. I don't have thousands of books like some people, but I only sell 20 to 30% of those books. So I have a lot of books that never sell. And that's okay, because I make my income from the books that do sell. But some people expect all of their books to sell, and that's impossible. Not all of your books will sell. Some books will never sell. And I have some books that I think are really, really nice and they're not selling. And I have other books that are not that good, in my opinion, and they are selling. So you just never know. This is not something that you can predict or plan. You just have to try, make some books and hope that they make some sales. And when you do make some sales, then you can analyze the niche that you're creating your books in and how you're making the interior, what kind of keywords you're using. So there's a lot to it, really. It's not just uploading a book onto KDP and making sales. You do have to do a lot of learning and a lot of trying and a lot of failing as well before you can have some success. Another question that people ask me a lot is, how many hours do you have to work on your KDP business to become successful? Now, of course, the answer to that is the more time you can invest into KDP, the better, because the more time you spend on KDP, the more you can create and the more you can research and the more you can experiment, because a lot of this business is really experimenting. It's not all about just uploading books. And this is another mistake that people make. Some people, they think it's the more books you upload, the better the chances of making sales. And that is so not the case. Please don't get tempted into making thousands of books, because you can never create really good quality books if you're making lots and lots of books in a short space of time. And I know some people will disagree with me, and that's okay. If it works for you, then carry on doing what you're doing. But most people will say that it doesn't really work for them to do it that way. And I think that's because some people upload a book onto Amazon KDP and they really like their own books. We all like our books because we put a lot of effort into them and we think the design is great. But in reality, when I look at the books that I created at the beginning, they're really not that great. I realize that now, but it takes a while to experiment and to upload books to really see what works and what doesn't work. So it doesn't matter how many hours you put in, it's the quality of the hours that you put in, the quality of the time that you invest into KDP. So a lot of it will be research. You do have to do a lot of research. So you just have to find a book that a lot of people want to buy. And I know that's easier said than done, because that is where the difficulty comes in. But I've also noticed another thing. A lot of the people in my group and in other groups, they are talking about keyword research and they're really overcomplicating things. It's not that complicated to do your keyword research. It really isn't. You just have to find a book or a niche that people are searching for. So you need something that people actually want to buy. There's no point in making a book where people are not really looking for that type of book. So you do have to find a niche that is popular. And then some people, they get put off because they think, well, yes, this niche is popular, but it's also very competitive. There's a lot of competition, so I'm not going to make a book. And I always say, well, don't be too afraid of competition. What you have to do is you have to be better than that competition. And if you can think of a different angle to that niche, if you can think of something that you can add that is different, or maybe it's just a matter of making a better cover, then you can still make money in that niche. And I know there are a lot of tools that can help you with keyword research. A lot of people use these tools and they start suffering from analysis paralysis. They're looking at the results that those tools give them, and they just cannot decide whether to publish this book or not publish this book because they're not sure about the niche. Well, I say to you, it's free to publish a book on KDP. Just try, because the only way you're going to find out if a niche is good or not is by publishing a book in it. And then you can see if it's any good or not. And sometimes you just have to be brave and publish a book in a niche, especially if you like the niche and especially if you know something about the topic. This is another really interesting and important point, which is basically a lot of people are making books in niches that they don't understand. I can see a lot of people making books in self-help niches, in mental health niches, anything that is to do with health. I would say, unless you're a doctor or someone who's qualified, don't even try to publish anything in those kind of niches. You do need to know a little bit about what you're talking about. You can't make a book in a niche that you know nothing about, because it will not be a very good book. If you're not knowledgeable in that niche, it's better not to make it. And make something in a niche that you understand. And I'm sure that all of us have plenty of knowledge in subjects that we can publish books in. So that is another really important point. And I think that answering your question, is it possible to make a regular income from uploading low content books on Amazon KDP? Well, yes, it is. And I'm an example of that. But I also have to say that it takes a lot of hard work, and sometimes it takes time, and that can be very disheartening. It took me a year to get to a level that I was actually considering to continue. Before that, I had many times when I was ready to give up because I wasn't making any money, or I was making very irregular money. And it was hard. It's hard to dedicate so much time to something when you're not getting any results. But I was always thinking that in the end, it will pay off. I was really proud of my books and of what I was creating. And I thought, no, there is no way that this is a waste of time. I'm sure that I will one day get some sales for this book. And then I did. So it really is about being confident as well, and not giving up, and believing in your product and believing in what you do as well. But of course, it's not just that. It's also creating good quality products and knowing your niches. That is one of the most important things in my opinion. And also, don't expect too much too soon. And the other really important thing was, just to recap, you have to really learn to find a lot of the answers yourself. This is why it's so important to have an inquisitive mind and to do your research. And when I see people asking for niches and for keywords, I feel bad for them, because I think that if you can't do that yourself, then KDP isn't really for you. You need to be able to find your own niches, your own keywords, and you need to be able to do a lot of research for you to succeed on KDP. And that is the truth. If you rely on other people to give you those things, then the only way to do it is to outsource and to pay people to do that. And that can be done too. I know a lot of people pay people to make their covers, or to make their interiors, or to do the keyword research for them. It's possible to do that. But if you're on a budget and you want to make it for free, you really have to learn everything yourself and how to do it yourself. And that is the way that you will definitely succeed if you have an inquisitive mind and you find answers to your problems yourself. But saying all of that, you're very welcome to join my Facebook group, which is really helpful. And if you have any questions, people are really friendly in the group and they answer so many questions really well. I'm so proud of them. And I invite anybody to join us on the Home Boss group on Facebook. And I'm quite active in that group, so if you have any questions, just ask them. No question is silly, by the way, because we all started from nothing and we all had questions at the beginning. So if we can help in any way, join our Facebook group, because that is a really good place for any beginners and also for people who are a bit more advanced. And so that was the answer to the question, can you make a regular income with Amazon KDP uploading low content books? The answer is yes, you can, but you have to do it the right way and you have to put in the work. It's not easy. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.